What's up, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. Hope you had a good weekend. Well, it's a new week, so we'll take a look at our weekly Bitcoin outlook. We'll take a look at levels we're looking at. We'll look at the weekly chart since that closed and the daily and smaller time frames. We'll look at the crypto fear and greed indicator, see what that's telling us. Also take a look at the alt market and see where we're going. All right, guys, let's dive into this video.
Trade Genius.
Real quick, guys, we signaled out 0x last week and, over a 20% move from when we signaled it out. If you guys want to get in on the room, cryptos we cover, but we also cover the stocks and ETFs and binary options, which is highly successful. A couple days left for our specials on that. We also have our training lessons, and we also are now doing a free one. So if you guys are not sure, you've been following us, you want to see what our lessons are about, you can take this first lesson free at tradelikeagenius.com. So I encourage you to check those out. But again, lots of stuff going on every week in the room and on our programs, so check it out. We got a couple more days on that. Okay, so let's dig into the charts. So on the weekly time frame, guys, we broke this inner trend line that we had on this overall descending wedgie pattern that's been in progress for a long time. Again, the downside risk is going to be breaking below the 6,000. I would be a buyer though on any breaks, breaks down toward this 6,000 level. And actually, I would probably attempt a cup, maybe a stab a little bit higher with a tight stop. But there's a couple opportunities in here to catch any quick dips down. Again, model says the bottom is in, and I think you're going to get a lot of, you need a firm break of this level for the volume void that's below here to come into play, and then that would take us down to like the 5,000 level. But just a strong consolidation here. It's been a lot of bullish news. There's a lot of accumulation going on. I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. Some interesting things going on as far as accumulation and the sideways price action that we should cover. But on the weekly time frame, on the price action, what we're looking at is essentially, this level here, basically 6,800. We want to see a strong close above that. In between that, it's just going to be all about the smaller time frames and taking advantage of the short-term overbought and oversold opportunities. But you're not going to get large percentage gains when it comes to Bitcoin right now. You're just going to get consolidation. This is the typical pattern of what we see when we get a long-term rounded bottom versus a capitulation bottom. Capitulation bottoms need a lot of energy, and that's what we saw in the first part of the year. Now it's a consolidating environment, and rounded bottoms, this is how they go in. They kind of lull you to sleep until you look behind and go, oh gee, the bottom was down there, and then it grinds higher and then starts gaining more momentum again. So, but weekly levels, guys, would be nice to get a close above these highs here. Right now we're just kind of, every week we put in a high low and we're just going inside those. This week we did break out a little bit higher, and that's because this trend line broke. We can look at that on the daily chart, but on the weekly, guys, it would be nice to see a close above last week's prior high of 66.41 approximately. So if we can close the week higher on that, that would be good for the bulls. Otherwise, if you're bearish and looking for some downside pressure, it would be bearish if we closed below 63.98. All right, now let's look at the one-day chart. And again, this trend line, actually we need to adjust a little bit here to, there we go. So you see, like, what happened was when we came up, new day, the day broke above that trend line, we noticed a nice pop. I do believe it was this trend line breaking, and I think people looking at that and creating some stop runs there. We did run up and then it kind of pulled back, but we are starting to grind a little higher, so we'll see what happens. Again, 6,800 is probably going to be another level where you're going to see shorts come in. I like the fact that we've nibbled on it 2 times. This would be a 3rd time, and if we do get up there a 3rd time, that's going to make the probability of a break that much higher. Now, what's going to make that a little tricky is that we have this longer term trend line of our large descending wedge that's coming down, and right now that's approximately 70.53. So just keep those spots in mind, guys, as you're going higher. For those of you in the room, we are eyeballing an entry the next day or two. Right now, we've just been trying to avoid kind of just the chop there. Even if you got entered into these trades, unless you're trading a really small time frame, there's not a whole lot to go off of on say a daily or higher time frame. All right, let's drill down to the 4-hour chart. As you can see, a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders here, but again, moving up past that that trend line that we broke, and looking at the volume profile, we'd have to zoom out a bit here. But as you can see, there's not, the next area of resistance in this node is going to be around the 7,000 level. So we could see, if we can break above the 6,800, you could see pretty quick $200 move, I would say, into this volume node up here, and then you're going to run into this this upper trend line here. And so the move would be a grind up to 6,800, break through that, and you'll probably see another $200 move up to the 7,000-ish plus area, and then more consolidation probably after that. And I would expect to see the shorts come in at that point and try to push back down, which would then make 6,800 the support level. So that's that would be like your 4-hour outlook this week on Bitcoin. Switching over to the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Now, if you aren't familiar with this, I covered this in another video. I can link to it at the end of this video on how to read this. But right now, we're just at a level that's not really to the point where there's an actionable trade on it. When we get down here and get a spike or a hook up, then that's an actionable level, as was here. So if you look at September 8th, for example, and actually we had the first signal on the 6th, but the 6th and then the 8th in that area, those were actionable trades if you're using just the fear and greed indicator. So if you scroll back, we can go to the daily on that. And if you go back to September and you look around here, and right there, the 8th, that was the nice move bottom there, and then we had a nice move up, and then it rolled back over and moved higher. So but those are the spots that we want to look for if you're swinging long, because they do. I think that fear and greed indicator, when it gets down to those levels, provides a nice opportunity for a decent move to the upside. So again, not really at a spot where I would take any action based on what that's reading. We can take a look at the alts and the alt charts. So with the alt market caps, to me, it's about support and resistance levels and trend line breaks. Remember a few weeks back we said it might be time to start looking at getting into some entries on the altcoins, and that's been since that spot we've had some decent gains. Now we are in an inverted head and shoulders here, so this trend line here that we got just above us, I'd expect that if we do break above that, if you notice this horizontal line here, that's going to represent about a 10% more move up on the market cap. So in other words, we break that trend line, we could see across the board 10% move on alts. Some alts will be a lot more than that, some less, but I don't think this little move up in the alts is done yet. We will cover how long we think this alt season will last in another video this week, but for the most part, I think this is still pretty bullish. I think there's opportunities for alt swing trades right now. We'll cover some of the ones that we entered later in the week on these videos. But again, breaking above that neckline, I think is going to produce another move on these things. But we really do need to see that here. Right now, we're just consolidating with a little upward bias. All right, guys, well, that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to kind of give you my outlook on what Bitcoin would be doing this week. Again, I think the key level for the bulls is going to be about 6,800. But until we break out of this consolidation range, it's going to be, expect a lot of chop. I don't think people want to hear that, but I think we could actually probably chop to upward bias through October. Actually, the model here, I should show you guys the model. As you can see, I drew this line based on what I saw. Haven't really changed it at all from back when I drew it in September, based on what was going on with the model. As you can see, we're kind of expecting a turn up here around today, but the way that it's scaling out, this could just be kind of just a very choppy month, and then we should see a move up as we head into November. But again, that would time out to be about November, second week in November. So just keep that in mind, guys. Could be pretty boring for a while and range bound. So that's what the model's telling us. So we keep an eye on that and kind of trade accordingly. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. If you're interested in our products, go over to tradelikeagenius.com. If you're on mobile, ring that bell, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.
Trade Genius.